welcome to Standard Form Calculations with Cubits Education. In this mini lecture, you will do calculations with numbers that are in standard index form. So let's have a look at this question. Here we have two numbers, this one and this one, that are in standard index form. So we have 3.6 times 10 to the power of 2 multiplied by 3.6 times 10 to the power of 4. So because we're multiplying these two numbers together, the first thing we need to do is 3.6 times 3.6 to give us 12.96. The next thing you're going to do is add the powers together here. When we're multiplying standard form calculations, we add the powers. Okay, so 2 plus 4 makes 6. So our final answer is going to be 12.96 times 10 to the power of 6. We must keep the times 10 part, because we're not expanding the number to make a full number. We are leaving the times 10 part in there. Okay? Hopefully that's nice and easy. Have a go at a few of these questions. Try and do them without a calculator in terms of the decimals multiplied by the non-decimals. There is a video on this. If you haven't watched that yet, please go ahead and watch it and see how you get on. Okay, so if you've paused the video and had a go, let's have a look at some answers then. So for the first one, we've got 1.2 times 5, which makes 6, and then we're going to add these powers together here. So that makes 5. So 6 times 10 to the power of 5. This next one, 5.4 times 6 gives us 32.4 times 10 to the power of 3, okay, which is great, but you might have noticed that this is not less than 10. Okay, so it's okay saying that you've got 32.4, but we need to make sure our decimal point is there. And if our decimal point is there, it means we've moved back one more space, which means we need to add a number to our power. Okay, so 3.24 times 10 to the power of 4. And then on the last one, 2.1 times 4.5 is 9.45, and then 4 add 6 makes 10. So well done if you got all those right. If not, make sure that you try and have a go at the quiz at the end of the lesson, or do some practice with the extra worksheets that will be added to this tutorial as well. Okay, let's have a go at another one now. So as you can see, we've now got some minus powers here. Okay, so we have 2.7 times 10 to the power of minus 2 and 5.2 times 10 to the power of 6. So we do exactly the same again. We do 2.7 times 5.2, which gives us 14.04. And then we add the powers. Now you must have already done the video on adding and taking away negative numbers. And we have minus 2 plus 6. Okay, so that's like saying minus £2 overdrawn, and you put £6 in your bank. You actually only have £4. So then we have our final answer of 14.04 times 10 to the power of 4, but remember, we've made a little error here. We need to change this to 1.404. The number needs to be below 10, which means we would then add 1 to the power. Okay? So 1.404 times 10 to the power of 5. Okay? Okay, so have a go at these standard form calculations and pause the video, and when you've had a go, I will go through the answers. Okay, if you've paused the video and had a go, let's try these. So again, we have 1.2 times 5, which gives us 6, and then we have minus 3 plus 4. Well, minus 3 plus 4 is 1. Okay, it's like saying you've got minus £3 overdrawn at the bank. You put £4 in, you only have £1 left. Now we don't actually have to put this 1 if we're doing 6 times 10, because obviously it's only 1, but in standard index form I recommend you leave it in. So next one, 5.4 times 6 gives us 32.4 again. Now here we have 2 plus minus 6. Well, 2 plus minus 6 makes minus 4. Now we have to be really careful, because we actually need to move this one back again to give us 3.24. Now you might think that this has gone down in value, when in fact it's actually gone up. If I move this one place that way, this needs to go up by 1. Well, minus 4 plus 1 is minus 3. So just be really careful about your minus numbers. And if it helps, write out the calculation. Minus 4 plus 1, because I actually need it to be less than 10. And if I move this over one space that way, I need to add 1 to this. Okay. And then our final one is 2.1 times 10 to the power of 4 times 4.5 times 10 to the power of minus 6. 2.1 times 4.5 is 9.45. And then we have 4 plus minus 6, which is like 4 minus 6. 4 take away 6 is minus 2. Okay, so I hope you got all those correct. And again, if not, watch the tutorial again or practice using the extra worksheets and the quiz at the end. Okay, so we're going to get a little bit more tricky now. Here we have a standard form being divided by another standard form number. Okay, so this line means divide, and you'll see this come up a lot, not just in standard form, but in the tutorials in general, because we like to use this line a lot for fractions and division and things like that. Now, with this one, it's quite nice. It's not too bad, this one. So what we first need to do is 5.7 divided by 3. Okay, and 5.7 divided by 3 is 1.9. So let's just leave that there. Now, when we divide powers, so when we multiplied the powers, when we multiplied the numbers, we added the powers. But now, because we're dividing, we subtract the powers. 5 take away 4 is 1. Okay, so when we multiply, we add the powers. When we divide, we subtract the powers. And this comes up again in the next section. Or this might have come up before, sorry, in the indices section. Okay, so when we are dividing standard form calculations, we subtract the powers. So we end up with this 1.9, and we have times 10 to the power of 1, because that was our subtraction of powers. Okay, so I was going to say have a go at this standard form calculation, but I've already given you the answer, so I'm ever so sorry about that. But let's just go through it. So 3.4, if you want to go, you can pause the video and see if you get the right answer, just to check on your learning or your understanding. So pause the video if you like, and I'll just go through it anyway. So 3.4 divided by 2 is 1.7, and then we have 4 take away minus 2. Now, if we have 4 take away minus 2, I'll show you what that looks like actually. 4 take away minus 2. And if you can remember what I said about these two, they kind of join together to make an add, which actually makes 6, which is why we have a 6 just here. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. And let's move on to one more extra hard question. It looks horrible. Don't panic. You can definitely do this. If you've kept up to now, you can definitely do this question. So what we need to do is we have a multiplication question, and then we've got it entangled with this division here. So let's tackle the top line first, as we usually would with a multiplication like this. So we've got 5 times 16, okay, which gives us 80. Okay, and then we have this minus 1 plus 3. Minus 1 plus 3, okay, is 2. So we end up with 80 times 10 to the power of 2. But if you remember, this is not to be anything above 10. So let's change that. We change it to 8. We get rid of the 0 and we add 1 to our power. Okay, I've left the bottom line the same because we've not dealt with that yet. Okay, so we take off one of the numbers, we go back an extra space. Okay, which would just make 8, and then add 1 to the power. Okay, so now let's look at the bottom. So now we're dividing the top by the bottom. So 8 divided by 4 is 2, nice and easy. And then 3 take away minus 5. 3 take away minus 5 becomes an add. These two join together to make an add. 5 plus 3 is 8. So we end up with 2, because this is what was left, times 10 to the power of 8. Okay, right, so here is one for you to have a go at. Please rewind or go through again if you really need to. Make sure you understand every aspect of standard form. Okay, so if you've paused the video and had a go, let's have a look then. So we'll look at the top bit first. Okay, so 8.1 times 6.3 actually gives us 51.03. Okay, and I've left this bottom line the same. Now just be careful because we don't want 51. We want, we want this number to be less than 10. But I'll just be careful with that for now because I want to divide by 9. And it might be more helpful if I use this number to divide by 9. But if you could check it and make this 5.103 divided by 9, but it might make your life hard. So instead, I'm going to do 51.03 divided by 9, which gives me 5.67. And then I've got minus 2 minus 1. Okay, so let's write that down just so you can see what it looks like. Minus 2 minus 1. So it actually is minus 2 plus 1. Okay, so you've got minus 2 in the bank, you're overdrawn, and you put a pound in, you still owe the bank £1, hence the minus 1 here. Okay, so that was quite a quick tutorial really, but there was a lot in there, so please practice. If you need any help with anything, feel free to write it down and use it in one of your free tutorials. Okay, so thank you very much for using Cubit Education, and I'll see you next time.